of the number of medals that different countries have managed to get at the Commonwealth Games. Toskin, do you want to ask your guest from South Africa what's happening in his country?
Of course, we need him to tell us something about them losing that bid, hosting rights of the Commonwealth Games. I've been to Durban, and I thought you have a world-class stadium, the World Cup stadium, and I thought maybe you just needed to do a few things here and there. But now you are saying financial constraints. What is the position?
Well, if you have students running on the roads asking for free education in those large numbers, university students are very, very serious about what they want. And for you then to stand up, as the minister said, or myself as head of sport, and say, give us 6 billion, we want to host. It doesn't really sound good in the eyes of those who really need this kind of money. So, you know, after really sitting down and thinking about it, we said, yes, next time. It is a huge disappointment for all of us on the continent, because the games have never been to Africa. Sure. And we really thought when Nigeria put in a bid, you know, that we will stand behind them and support them. They lost to Glasgow. And so hopefully there's a country whose economy will improve in the years to come, and then it will come to Africa.
Linda, that's the Vice President of the Commonwealth Games Federation, that is Gideon Sam, and he's saying that because, again, the aspect of humanity, you cannot just have people on the streets asking for food, asking for education, and then you are putting a lot of money in other equally important, but you must have something that is urgent. For that matter, they've decided to pull out.
You consider the basic needs.
Exactly.
All right, Toskin, so let's do a little bit of stock taking. We're looking at the Commonwealth and the number of medals that different countries have had. So I'm hoping we can pack that on the Super Bowl, then I can have a conversation with Toskin as well. Good. So let's look at the total number of medals that different countries have had in the last couple of years. Australia, number 1 at 2,218. Canada, number 3 at 1,473. India, New Zealand. I'm not seeing an African country here. Toskin, what's up? Why are we not seeing an African country in the top 5?
Number 8 there.
Why are we not seeing an African country in the top 5? What's going on?
I think it's about a question of investment, having to invest in those sports. You saw earlier in our conversation, Stephen Sawyer and, of course, Gideon Sam having some friendly fire, saying that that South Africa has beaten Kenya in medal tally. It's all because of investing in various sports, I think. That's the point.
Okay, so let's go to the next board. So clearly there's no African country here. Number 6, we see the first African. Yay! Kenya is here at number 8. Okay, so you have South Africa at number 6 with how many? 352. Then you have Kenya at number 8 with 220. Finally. So you have Kenya, you have South Africa, and Nigeria.
I think Gideon Sam is winning here, and Stephen Sawyer is really trailing at 220 gold medals. But of course, how many? 81 gold medals? Guys,
no. Which country? Which country are you saying has 81?
Kenya.
Which country are you saying has 81?
81 gold medals, that is Kenya all time. That's the point. But we are not going to talk about Australia. Ambassador is here.
Wait. First of all, can we go back to the previous board, people? Can we go back to the previous board,
Ambassador has an observation.
Linda, you asked why there was no African country in the top 5. There's a very simple reason. The top 4 countries have competed in all 20 games. South Africa has only competed in 12. Kenya in 15, and I think Nigeria in 13. So, you know, Australia's at the top. It's competed in all the games. You've competed in 15, and only 15. But I'm confident at these games that certainly Kenya will march up that
But looking at South Africa, only 12, Kenya 15, and South Africa are on top there, then it validates our point that it's a question of investment.
No, but can I make a point here? And let us consider what is the size of a team. Australia normally will field in all sports disciplines in the Commonwealth Games. That is one. The number of athletes who participate in these games from Australia are normally over and above any other country in the Commonwealth Games. And then, lastly, it's a question of investment.
Sure.
In the past, but we are saying, I think there has been a lot of improvement, even in as far as Kenya is concerned, because in the last 2 Commonwealth Games, that is, and I'm talking about Delhi and Glasgow. There has been a lot of improvement in terms of the number of disciplines that participate. We are now targeting the 24 sports disciplines.
Yeah, sure.
And of course, the team sports will have to, they're required to go through qualifying rounds. And in the last 2 games, we have managed for the first time to end at 2 team sport. And I think this makes a lot of change. Besides, of course, the glory, there is what our sportsmen and women do embrace, and that is coming together for 16 or 11 days to celebrate together the great moments of their lives.
I think
this would be a good time to introduce Baton and all those things that when you claim their disciplines, then you can
Of course, bowling is also the other one, the one you've always wanted me to train you on. That's bowling. Maybe next time, and with the help of Ambassador here, we'll train you on bowling.
All right, you have your conversation, Toskin.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ambassador, looking at all that and the medal table, you've explained pretty well. But then, in terms of sports development, how is a country like Australia, helping other countries also, like Kenya, like South Africa, to get to the standards of a country like Australia?
Well, we've got a very active program of sending our elite coaches overseas. The focus is principally in the Asia-Pacific region, and obviously that will remain the focus. Certainly, I mean, my interest is in getting, frankly, Kenyan athletics coaches to go to Australia rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
But no, we do have a very active sports diplomacy program in the region.
That's very good. About our own integration, South Africa and other African countries.
I think what has happened now is that through strengthening the regions, remember we're Africa and there are 18 of us, 18 African countries. We met recently in Rwanda, and I think what is happening now, we're beginning to trust each other. There's always been, where do they come from, and so on. Now we're working as a unit, and we're encouraging each other to really perform when we come to these events. We hate it when we see African countries just being numbers in the games, whether it be Olympics, whether it be Commonwealth, or whatever. And so with this new unity that we've got, we've decided that we will work with Aussie Sport. It's been very good over the years to develop, especially administrators, because poor administrators will lead to poor athletes.
Yes.
You have to raise the standard of administrators. And for the years that I've been involved with Aussie Sport, we've done that. The second part that we have now working on is the coaches, and His Excellency is quite correct here by saying that that's the area that we all need to share with. Our Australian coaches sharing with us, and we sharing with them. Because you see, we must also be careful as Africa, not just to be handouts. No. We also need to give out what Kenya is doing in terms of long distance running. We can export that to any country in the world, especially countries in the Commonwealth. So Africa is coming together now, and hopefully, and I'm sure of it, that at the Games in Australia, we'll be working there as a unit. One of the things that we tried last time was to ensure that those who do not have the resources, like in medical, we would ask we normally send almost half a hospital to these games. So bring your athletes into that. You don't have to be shy to say that I need that massage, I need that, because we have that capacity to send medical teams to the games.
And I see one of the critical areas that you could maybe learn or develop from Australia and South Africa is about doping, testing and all that. We need help. We've seen that we don't have the medical laboratories to do testing for our athletes and even educate them. Would the Commonwealth be one of the platforms maybe to seek for this kind of help?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity, and And there are various exchanges that has happened. In the past, as said, we have seen this collaboration coming up very well. Two particular areas. First is doping. You know, the headquarters of World Anti-Doping is in Canada. In Canada. And we have always gotten the Canadian team offering services, including physiotherapy services. And that also applies to Australia. Because they normally travel with large medical team. And I've always said, please, if you so need us, just allow your athletes, or if you want us to second some of our medical personnel to your team, they are prepared to do that. And I think that is the thing that we should always encourage. Now, the issue that Gideon said, you know, the moment you remove the mistrust, and then you'll see cohesiveness in sports. And that is very important, because then that allows for the growth of sports generally.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We've been talking to three gentlemen who are involved in this Queen's Baton that is already now here in Nairobi. That is Ambassador John Fix of Australia, and of course Gideon Sam, the Vice President of Commonwealth Games Federation, and Stephen Soy, who is the Deputy Treasurer of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, and of course he's also involved in the Commonwealth Games. Guys, thank you very much for coming through, helping us to understand what is going on, and hopefully we'll meet at Carrara Stadium in Australia next year when the games begin.
Indeed, that was going to be my next line. I was sort of hoping the ambassador would send us invites that we can go and watch the games, right?
Yeah, he's here, and then now he can declare that we are welcome to Australia.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for being part of Worldview People. That's where we wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Have a good afternoon. I'm Linda Ogutu.